Since that sounds like the perfect opening for me, I will welcome you all to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Rappahannock. Whether you're a longtime visitor, a member, or a friend, or whether this is your first Sunday with us, we are glad you are here. Today we turn our attention to wonder, to that very human experience of encountering something that makes us stop, look again, and perhaps simply say, wow. Our guest minister this morning is Andrew Clive Millard, the Reverend, who will lead us more deeply into this exploration of wonder. Andrew, I invite you to share opening words.
Thank you, Diana. Good morning. Good morning. It's good to be with you again. I think it's been about a year. And greetings from the UU Fellowship of the Peninsula in Newport News. Please mark your calendars for March 7th, because that's when we'll be dedicating our new building, and you are all invited. Whenever Unitarian Universalists come together, it is to grow the beloved community. With every smile and kind word, every act of service and generosity, we build connections, threads in the great web that sustains us and holds us together. For only in community can we truly make a difference and bring our vision into being.
As we light this chalice, I invite you to stand as you are able and to join in singing Rise Up, O Flame. And then please remain standing after that as we will sing our first hymn of the morning.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Our reading this morning is the Zen story, A Cup of Tea, which Andrew will now share with us.
This story comes from Zen Buddhism and is called A Cup of Tea. Once upon a time, there was a wise teacher. Such was their wisdom that people traveled from far and wide to learn from them. One day, a scholar came to visit the teacher. "I have come to learn from you," the scholar said. But instead of listening to the teacher, the scholar kept talking. Even when the teacher would start to say something, the scholar would only interrupt with more of their own opinions and ideas. So while the scholar was talking, the teacher served tea and began to pour a cup for the scholar. The teacher poured the tea until the cup was full, but didn't stop pouring. The cup overflowed, spilling tea onto the table and then onto the scholar's clothes. "Stop," cried the scholar. "Can't you see that the cup is full? There's no room in it for more tea." "Exactly," replied the teacher with a smile. "Like this cup, you are so full of your own opinions and ideas that there's no room for me to teach you anything." Wonder has been an explicit part of the covenant between UU congregations for more than 40 years. First in the 6 sources of our living tradition, and now named in the section called Inspirations, which begins direct experiences of transcending mystery and wonder are primary sources of Unitarian Universalist inspiration. Of course, wonder isn't something to capture and measure. Rather, it's something you do. Just like love, wonder is not only a noun, but also a verb. Wondering is an action. Moreover, it's not just a response to experiencing something beautiful or amazing or uplifting. To wonder is to actively engage with the world. Going further back than inspirations and sources, there's what is known as the 5 smooth stones. These are the essential principles of liberal religion that UU theologian James Luther Adams identified after witnessing the rise of fascism in pre-war Germany. As his editors have named them, there is great cause for us to wonder in both the first stone, revelation is continuously revealed, meaning has not been fully captured, and the book of truth has not been closed, and the 5th, the human and cosmic resources for meaningful personal and social transformation justify ultimate optimism, otherwise known as hope. So this morning we're going to talk about wondering, not just as a way of reacting to our experiences, but as a method of exploring and engaging with the world, an active process that opens our hearts, renews our spirits, and transforms our minds. Now, sometimes it's hard to know which comes first, my decision to preach on a certain topic or my noticing things that relate to the topic. Does my decision mean that I notice more, or was it the noticing that led to my decision? For example, I've been seeing a particular bumper sticker on the back of other cars recently. It says, "Not all those who wander are lost." Apparently this saying is beloved by those who drive Jeeps, which at least makes some sense versus whatever the thing is with rubber ducks. In any case, this saying comes from The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. It's one line in a poem that the wizard Gandalf puts in a letter to make sure the hobbits meet the right person to help them. The first verse of this poem is, "All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost." The poem emphasizes that worth is not always readily visible, and that just because someone appears aimless does not mean they have no goal. Beyond Tolkien's story, it suggests that there's value in leaving the path and simply wandering, exploring the world free from other people's and particularly our own expectations. Of course, given the similarity between wander and wonder, it's not surprising that the saying has been given a further twist. I first saw this in Colorado when I was working for the Mountain Desert District as youth ministry coordinator. When the UUA announced that the National Youth Program was ending, we decided to develop our own. And after some vision work with the district's youth and youth advisors, it was named Quest. This isn't an acronym, but yes, it is spelled with 2 U's. In particular, the youth identified 5 essential elements of this program. Gatherings, i.e. getting youth together across different congregations to develop what often become lifelong relationships. Worship and opportunities for deeper spirituality. Justice, in that faith and action go together, and neither is complete without the other. Resilience, through community, covenant, and spiritual identity. And what they called coming out of the basement, or the portable, or the back room. In other words, ensuring that youth are visible and participating members and leaders of their religious communities. Now, running through all of these as the goal of Quest was to encourage spiritual adventure, meaning-making, and holy curiosity. The latter as a religious idea for UUs in particular, comes from something that the scientist Albert Einstein once said. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence. One cannot help but be in awe when contemplating the mysteries of eternity, of life, of the marvelous structure of reality. As Einstein advised, never lose a holy curiosity. So when we convened our first Quest camp for UU Youth one summer in Colorado, one of the other district staff must have had the Tolkien line in mind, because they made a banner which said, "Not all those who wonder are lost." That's wonder as a verb, an action. Not a Platonic ideal, nor something quantifiable and separate from us, but something for us to do, a method of exploring and engaging with the world. The caricature of faith, of religion, of course, is that we're not supposed to wonder. We're supposed to accept creeds and dogma as they are, and we're not encouraged to ask questions. Now, that's not true when it comes to liberal religions, but we've all heard stories from our fellow UUs about how they were asked to leave other, more conservative churches because they asked too many questions. The fact is that wondering is an essential part of spirituality, and holy curiosity is vital to doing theology. The reality is that we don't know everything there is to know, and most answers lead to more questions. Where do we come from? What is our purpose? Where are we going? These questions don't have easy answers. For one thing, they've been the core of every systematic theology since Thomas Aquinas, and easy answers deserve to be questioned. Moreover, as the story of a cup of tea explains, if we think we have all the answers, if we're full of our own opinions and ideas, then there's no room for us to learn anything new. So wondering also requires humility, that we accept we don't know everything, we don't have it all figured out, that our lived world is incomplete. Actually, I have an idea that Gödel's incompleteness theorem from mathematics means that no systematic theology will ever, can ever, have all of the answers. But I have yet to discuss that with either mathematicians or theologians. If that's the case, though, it means that there will always be more questions. There will always be cause to wonder. As UU theologian James Luther Adams put it, revelation is continuously revealed. Meaning has not been fully captured, and the book of truth has not been closed. We put our faith in a transforming reality that breaks through encrusted forms of life and thought to create new forms. Encrusted, what a great word. It makes me imagine crusty churches, crusty books, crusty people who are so set in their ways, who respond to every suggestion of change with the crusty excuse, but we've always done it this way. For them, anyone who asks questions, anyone who wonders is lost, because they've already strayed from the crusty path of crusty dogma. Okay, I'll stop saying crusty now. The point is that in liberal religion, and particularly in Unitarian Universalism, we know that not all those who wonder are lost. We encourage wondering. We encourage it as holy curiosity, meaning-making, and spiritual adventure. If we only ever travel paths that other people have made, then we'll only ever see what they already saw. Rather, we have the freedom to leave the path and simply wonder, exploring the world free from other people's and particularly our own expectations, and preconceptions. In fact, we've named it as a primary source and inspiration of our living tradition, for it's through the experience of active wondering that we open our hearts, renew our spirits, and transform our lives. Now, I have a video for you to watch. It's quite short, but it requires us to pay attention very closely. In this video, a group of people, some in black tops and some in white, are throwing basketballs among themselves. Your task is to count how many times the people in white throw the ball. You'll need to pay very close attention because it does get a little tricky at times to follow the ball. This is the first frame. Maybe if somebody could turn off the lights. There we go. This is the first frame, the very start of the video, and the ball that you'll be watching very closely is right there in the middle. And if you've seen this video before and you know the answer, please keep quiet and don't spoil it for anyone else. Remember, you are counting how many times the people in white are throwing the ball. Here we go. So, how many times did the ball get passed? What do you think? 9? 14? 15. It's tricky. The ball was passed 15 times, but it was difficult to follow it at times with the way they were moving around one another. But don't feel bad if your count was off, because it was hard. Now I'm going to play the video again, and this time your task is to simply watch it. Hands up if you only saw the gorilla the second time. Yeah. Here's another frame from the video, and with the gorilla in the middle, and yes, it was the same video you saw each time. Sometimes we can be so focused on what is right in front of us, we can be so careful to stick to the path laid out for us that we don't notice what else is going on around us. As demonstrated in the video, which is from researchers Daniel Simons and Christopher Chabris, we are susceptible to what is called inattentional blindness, where we didn't see something we didn't expect to see because we were concentrating on a specific task that demanded our attention. The gorilla can be right in front of us, and we still might not see it. Paying attention is important, but we can't spend all of our time paying attention in just one small way, or we might not notice something big that's right in front of us. It's the difference between preoccupation and mindfulness. So we need to keep in mind what matters, but also stay open to experiences and ideas and choices that we might not otherwise have considered. If we can balance paying close attention with embracing wide possibility, then we are wondering and engaging in holy curiosity. We start to ask questions, not just really big ones like where do we come from, what is our purpose, and where are we going, but smaller questions like why is this the way it is? How can I find out? Who can I ask? Not long ago at the Newport News Fellowship, I started wondering about something I'd seen a number of times. It's this piece of metal pipe, which had been on the counter in our storage room, along with a number of other random items that had been left there since we moved in a year and a half ago. But taking a closer look at it, I realized there's more to this pipe than its abandonment. For one thing, it was clearly made for a purpose. It's stainless steel to resist corrosion. It's pretty hefty, and it's threaded on both ends. It's not long enough to be much of a towel bar, and it's not the sort of pipe that's used in ordinary plumbing. So I looked at it there on the counter of our storage room, amongst other flotsam and jetsam of congregational life, and I wondered about it. Where did it come from? What is it for? Who put it there? Where should it go? Do we need to keep it? I've tried to find some answers to these questions from other people in the congregation, and so far I haven't come up with anything. It's a mystery. Now, my little session of wondering about this piece of pipe didn't lead to any great revelations. It's a far cry from Albert Einstein wondering what it would look like to travel at the speed of light and coming up with the theory of relativity. But like any discipline, physical, intellectual, or spiritual, a little bit of wondering now and then is like exercise, preparing us for big wondering when the opportunity comes along. When it comes to awakening curiosity, we can't start with enormous questions like where do we come from, what is our purpose, and where are we going? We have to start with small questions like why is this here? And what is it for? So as summer comes to a close and we head into the fall, I invite you to wonder, to practice wondering, to engage in actively wondering about the world around you and about yourself. Make some room in your cup to receive something new and different. And even when you're focused on what's right in front of you, be open to noticing the gorilla. May it be so.
Thank you, Andrew. Now we have an opportunity to share our questions, comments, and our own experiences of wonder. What was your most recent experience of wondering? Andrew asks in the order of service. So who would like to begin?
Aside from wandering into this Unitarian Universalist church last week, my wife and I kind of sold all of our earthly possessions and left our home and families in New York 2.5 years ago, and have kind of left our path to where we just naturally be guided. And we found this area, and amazing the number of connections of people that we've known from other places, and our social life has expanded beyond anything that we had experienced before. I think our love has expanded beyond what we even thought was possible then. And the act of wondering and wandering has been coinciding in a really special way for us. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
My last experience with wandering was this past Friday when I joined a group here to work and question about building a strategic plan for UUFR. Now, I've done probably 15 or 20 strategic plans in my life, most of them in for-profit organizations, which have a very different approach than we took. And I certainly wondered what Christy was up to when she started this process, but it was very involved and very interesting, the outcome. So for those of you who wonder what it might be like, there are 2 more sessions.
Sorry about seeing the gorilla, but it was cool. My 3 top archetypes are storyteller, renegade, change for good, and explorer. And I'm going back to a moment in Portland, Oregon. They've got a beautiful, I went to graduate school there, beautiful park, and it was big. And I remember going out and being lost and relishing in being lost, because what I do, and I still do this from time to time today, is I would ask people what they did when they're lost. I said, I'm lost. What do you do? And it ended up creating amazing conversations. And to me, the wandering piece is adjacent to enchantment. And the key about enchantment, regardless of what Walt Disney says, is it is wild. It does not show up when you want it to. It shows up when you wander and have the curiosity. And to me, that is living the real life out of the mind that we've been conditioned into for the last 3,000 or 4,000 years. But thank you so much for giving us this experience as a community, because this is a time. I mentioned that the global activation of consciousness started in July 1st. And this is a time for us to wander around with curiosity and be open rather than react through our dogma about what's happening. Open our hearts, soften. So thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
That was really good. And I wonder, why don't we wander more? What is so keeping us from opening up? That is my biggest wonderment.
That is a good question, yes.
Would you like to respond to that, Andrew?
My immediate thought on that is that it's social conditioning, and starting from a young age with how we are educated, how we educate our children. As people get older, they lose the ability to imagine and to tell stories. And I don't think that's innate. I mean, you see young children playing, they have no shortage of imagination. They create stories that they can fully inhabit. But I don't think society sees that as much use. And so we are conditioned out of it, grow older, unfortunately. So it's something we have to relearn.
Thank you. Molly taught us a song that it was, where do we come from, where are we going?
Yes.
And that's going through my head, man. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, I'm going. I don't know where, but I'm going.
That's a very good wandering song.
One of my favorites is, I may be lost, but I'm making really good time.
I want to agree with you about your theory about how we raise our children, and the conditioning that we bring to them and how that affects them the rest of their lives as far as wondering and wandering. And my parents are very creative people and very imaginative, and my father built the motorcycle that he wanted to have in our dining room and rolled it down the front stairs, and my mother taught me how to sew when I was 8 years old, and just so much creativity in our home.
Yeah.
And I feel like it made me more fearless than a lot of people that I know. And I wandered into a meetup group for witches, and I made a lot of friends there. And I wandered into a cuddle party that, people I didn't know at all, and I made a lot of friends there. And I wandered up to Massachusetts and met Jeff. And then we wandered down here, and we found the UU, and wandering has always been a good thing for me.
Good. Thank you.
And for us that you're doing it.
Just to revamp what you said about the children. I have a 3-year-old grandson. Didn't really learn to walk until he was 2, and didn't really learn to talk until he was 2.5. But what I noticed about him is he would concentrate on something and figure out how to do it. And then I was watching this documentary on Einstein, a series on Genius. And same thing, he didn't learn to talk until he was 5 or something, because he's always wondering about how things work. I see that in my grandson, and I see it in other people. And it's something I had when I was a kid. I would just look at everything and was wondering about everything.
Yeah.
And I've kept that from my life, but I watch people who don't, and then I try to bring that back into them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, great service. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love the gorilla thing because that just makes so much sense. But William reminded me, as a young kid, probably 9 or so, my siblings and I would get lost, take our bikes and get lost on purpose. And that was a fun day. Just riding your bike or in New Jersey in the suburbs and get lost. And luckily that has stayed with me through most of my life. I was a single mom for a while, and I just pack the kids up and go. And my grandmothers are like, what is she doing? Why is she doing that by herself? And then there was a period of life where I was very focused and didn't see the gorilla. And I am back in where I am seeing more of the whole picture. Wandering into singing bowls, into learning meditation, just different things, being more open. So don't get caught in the only seeing one focus, that you can move on to other things too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it time for double dipping? So what comes to mind because of Hannike's question, for me, is Rudolf Steiner and the Waldorf schools, where they don't teach children STEM until they're like 10 or so, because what happens in our education system when people are being trained to work in factories and stores is we train them out of their right hemisphere. And the Waldorf schools say, no, let them become human and then develop the skills.
A question I have is, when you wonder or wander and find yourself in a rut, what does one do about that?
In my experience, find something completely different to do. Usually when I have a problem, even if it's a problem of physical coordination, I find that going off and doing something totally unrelated allows it to percolate in the back of my mind, so that when I come back to it, I'm in a better place to figure it out. Yeah, if you stay stuck in the same thing and you stay there, you're going to stay there. So you have to find something unrelated.
I'm always struck when I work jigsaw puzzles, how I can be so stuck, and I'll get up and walk away and do something else, and I come back, put in 3 pieces right from the get-go. It's like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a good example.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew, so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.